What if the secret to living longer wasn't about medicine or money or luck, but about knowing when to stop? In a small corner of Japan, there's a place where growing older doesn't mean slowing down. Women in their 80s still walk to the market. They cook with calm hands, smile often, and eat slowly. Never rushing, never counting calories. They follow a quiet wisdom passed down for generations. It's called Harahachi Bu. Eat until you're 80% full. Not full, not stuffed, just satisfied. In the West, we fill our plates and sometimes our lives until there's no space left. But in Okinawa, they leave a little room for breath, for gratitude, for life itself. Maybe the key to longevity isn't in doing more, but in doing less, with more awareness. Because when you stop before you're full, you don't lose something. You gain lightness, clarity, and peace. Let's travel to Okinawa and discover how eating a little less can help us live a lot more. Adios. A hidden island and a different rhythm. Far in the southern waters of Japan, there's a small island kissed by warm winds and long golden light. Okinawa, a place where time seems to move slower. Not because the clocks are different, but because the people are. Here, mornings begin with the sound of sandals on stone paths. Elderly women, their backs straight and eyes bright, walk to the market to choose vegetables still wet with dew. They greet the vendors, laugh softly, and return home with baskets full of colors: bitter melon, purple sweet potatoes, tofu, and seaweed. They move without rush. They cook without hurry. Every gesture feels deliberate, almost sacred. And when they sit to eat, they pause, as if to say, life is happening now in this very bite. But what makes this tiny island so special? Why do so many here live past 90, still walking, gardening, even dancing? What do they know that the rest of the world has forgotten? The answer isn't found in medicine, wealth, or perfect genes. It's found in rhythm, a slower, wiser rhythm, the kind that listens before it acts, that savors before it swallows. In Okinawa, food isn't a transaction. It's a relationship. Every meal connects the body to the earth, the past to the present, the act of eating to the art of living. When researchers first arrived here decades ago, they expected to find some secret superfood or hidden supplement. But what they found instead was a way of life built on balance. People who moved daily, laughed often, and ate with quiet joy. And at the heart of it all, one small, powerful principle: Harahachi Bu. Eat until you are 80% full. It may sound simple, but behind those few words lies an entire philosophy, a way of honoring the body, the mind, and time itself. So what does Harahachi Bu really mean? Let's go deeper. The meaning behind Harahachi Bu. Harahachi Bu. 3 simple words, but in them lies an entire philosophy of balance. It comes from an old Confucian teaching that says, 8 parts of a full stomach keeps the body light and the heart clear. In other words, stop eating before you feel full. Abao. Because by the time your body sends the signal of fullness, you've already gone too far. In Okinawa, this is not seen as discipline. It's seen as respect. Respect for digestion, respect for energy, respect for life itself. Elders there teach children to pause halfway through a meal and ask, am I still hungry or am I just continuing? That question isn't about food, it's about awareness. It's an invitation to listen, to the body, to the moment, to oneself. Because what if the real hunger we carry isn't in our stomachs, but in our minds? In Western culture, we often eat to fill more than hunger. We eat to fill silence, loneliness, anxiety. We eat because stopping feels uncomfortable. But in Okinawa, stopping is wisdom. Pausing is power. Modern science now echoes what their ancestors already knew. Eating slowly and stopping early helps stabilize blood sugar, reduces inflammation, and keeps metabolism steady. But beyond the biology, there's something spiritual about knowing enough. To eat until you're 80% full is to live with space. Space for breath, for gratitude, for movement. It's a practice that says, my worth is not measured by what I consume. And that's where the magic begins. Because in Okinawa, food is more than nourishment. It's medicine. It heals not just the body, but the soul. Let's explore that next. The power of ritual. Itadakimasu and gochisusama. Before every meal in Japan, you'll hear a simple word spoken softly, almost like a prayer. Itadakimasu. It means, I humbly receive. It's more than manners. It's a moment of arrival, a pause that says, I see this food. I honor the hands that made it, and I thank life for bringing it to me. In that breath of gratitude, something changes. The body softens. The nervous system relaxes. Digestion begins more smoothly. Science calls it the parasympathetic response, but the Okinawans simply call it respect. What if one quiet word before eating could change the way your body feels afterward? When we begin a meal with gratitude, we remind ourselves that food is not a task. It's a gift. Mrs. Tamashiro, now 94, starts her morning this way every single day. Before lifting her chopsticks, she closes her eyes and whispers, "Itadakimasu." Then she takes her first bite slowly, as if time itself has slowed to join her. And when the meal ends, she smiles and says, "Gochisusama deshita." Thank you for the meal. That small closing ritual carries deep meaning. It signals completion, not just for the meal, but for the moment itself. It's the body's way of saying, I have received enough. In the West, we often eat while scrolling, talking, driving, multitasking. Our body's present, but our minds elsewhere. We chew without noticing, swallow without gratitude, and finish without feeling nourished. But in Okinawa, eating is a ceremony of presence. No rush, no screens. Just conversation, laughter, or sometimes silence. And that silence isn't empty. It's full of awareness, of connection, of calm. Even science agrees. When we eat mindfully, we digest better, sleep better, and stress less. But beyond the biology, ritual gives meaning to the ordinary. It reminds us that how we eat shapes how we live. And yet, not everyone eats this way. In the West, the table has become a place of distraction, not devotion. So why is it so hard for us to stop? Why do we crave more, even when we've had enough? To answer that, we have to look deeper into our relationship with enough. The Western struggle with enough. In the West, we live in a world that celebrates more. More success, more speed, more food. We fill our plates the same way we fill our days, completely and often, unconsciously. We eat until we're full, then a little more. Because somewhere along the way, we started to confuse fullness with satisfaction. But fullness is physical. Satisfaction is emotional. It comes not from the stomach, but from the heart. What if the reason we overeat isn't hunger, but emptiness? We eat to celebrate, to comfort, to fill silence that feels too loud. We eat because stopping makes us anxious. In a culture that never pauses, even a quiet meal can feel uncomfortable. Screens flicker at the table. Emails buzz between bites. And somewhere between scrolling and chewing, we stop tasting, we stop feeling, we stop listening. Mrs. Clara, 67, once told me, I used to eat until I couldn't move. And I called that comfort. But comfort isn't stillness, it's peace. Now, I stop when I feel light. When she said that, I realized something. Our struggle with food isn't about food. It's about pace. We live too fast to notice enough. In Okinawa, they pause between bites. In the West, we pause between deadlines. But what if we reversed that? What if the pause came back to the table? Maybe then our meals could nourish more than our bodies. Maybe they could heal our hearts too. Because enough isn't a measurement. It's a moment, a quiet recognition that this, right here, is sufficient. And in that moment, you discover something powerful. You don't need more to feel whole. You just need to remember what wholeness feels like. So how do we bring that wisdom back into our lives? How do we practice the balance of enough in a world that teaches us to always want more? The answer begins with small, gentle changes. At home, at the table, one meal at a time. Bringing the wisdom home. You don't have to live in Okinawa to live like them. You don't need a Japanese garden, a tatami mat, or ocean air. You just need a little space. In your day, in your plate, in your breath. Start small. Start tonight. When you sit down for your next meal, try this. Use a smaller plate. Serve a little less than usual. Then, before your first bite, pause. Take a slow breath and whisper, I humbly receive. That one breath changes everything. It slows the body. It wakes the senses. It turns eating into presence. And halfway through your meal, try something different. Put your fork down. Take a sip of tea. Ask yourself, do I need more or am I already satisfied? If the answer is enough, stop. Not because you're restricting, but because you're respecting. When you eat this way, something shifts quietly inside you. You begin to feel lighter, not just in your body, but in your mind. You'll notice your sleep feels deeper, your mornings calmer, your energy steadier. Because eating less is not about losing something. It's about gaining awareness. Try this for 7 days. Just one meal a day with full attention. No screens, no noise. Just you, your food, and your breath. Write down how you feel after each meal. Not your calories, but your calm. By the end of the week, you might notice that your hunger has changed. It's softer, wiser, quieter, and that's where peace begins. Not in control, but in connection. Because the wisdom of Harahachi Bu was never meant to stay in Okinawa. It's meant to be lived in every home, in every meal, by anyone willing to listen. The gentle ending. Aging with grace. Aging in Okinawa isn't something to fight. It's something to flow with. There, you'll see women in their 80s and 90s, walking barefoot through their gardens. Their hands gentle but strong. Their eyes full of laughter lines. Not age, but life. They don't chase youth. They nurture rhythm. They don't cling to what was. They honor what is. Mrs. Naomi, 93, says, I don't want to be full. I want to feel light. That way, I can move through life. Light, that's the word she used. Not thin, not small. Light. Light in her step. Light in her mind. Light in her heart. What if aging well isn't about holding on, but about letting go of rush, letting go of guilt, letting go of the need to fill every space. Because when you stop overfilling your plate, you stop overfilling your life. And what remains is enough. In the West, we often see aging as decline. But in Okinawa, it's seen as refinement. Like the slow polishing of a stone in the river. Each year, softer edges. Each day, more wisdom. The women there say that the secret to staying strong isn't found in resistance, but in rhythm. A rhythm that honors digestion, respects energy, and trusts the natural pace of life. And maybe that's the real secret of Harahachi Bu. It's not about food at all. It's about grace. The quiet strength to say, this is enough for me. So tonight, as you sit down to eat, pause, breathe, whisper your own thank you. For the food, for the day, for the body that carries you through it. Because aging gracefully isn't about looking young. It's about feeling whole. And sometimes the lightest life comes from leaving just a little room for peace. We've traveled far together. From the quiet kitchens of Okinawa to the rhythm of our own hearts. Along the way, we discovered that the key to a long, peaceful life isn't found in doing more, but in doing less, with awareness, with grace, with love. Maybe the secret to longevity isn't a secret at all. It's simply the courage to stop before you're full, to pause before you rush, to listen before you act. Because Harahachi Bu isn't about eating less, it's about living lighter. As you sit at your table, try leaving a little space, not just on your plate, but in your life. Let that space hold peace. Let it hold gratitude. Let it hold you. If this story touched something in you, share it with someone you love, someone who might also be searching for enough. And if you'd like to walk this journey with us, subscribe, so we can keep learning together. One breath, one meal, one peaceful moment at a time. Because a long life isn't about how many years you have. It's about how deeply you live the ones you're given.